When the wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. Oh, it was a sight to see. My hair flying in the breeze, 'cause the wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. People started laughing, they couldn't believe their eyes as my wig flew through the sky. Oh, what a surprise. I tried to catch it, but it slipped right through my hands, 'cause the wind came out your butt and I was somewhere in the land. Oh, wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. Baby, you drive like shit. Did you see the car that you almost hit? I'd rather take the bus instead. Riding with you, I'm gonna end up dead. Don't ask me if I need a lift. Baby, you drive like shit. She just ran through, always stop. I ain't trying to get stopped by the cops. Baby, why the hell did I let you drive? It's a miracle that you're still alive. Don't ask me if I need a lift. Baby, you drive like shit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Look out, my girl is driving. Watch out, my girl drives like shit. Whoa, 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 whoa. My girl is driving. Watch out, my girl drives like shit. You made me know. Heard you think you're tough. Gotta let you know I will fuck you up. I whoop that ass, talking all that shit, spank that ass till you tap like a bitch. No, I ain't playing. I'm here to kick ass. Whoop that ass. It's time to punch face. I'm the one who brings you pain in the ring. I whoop that ass until the bell rings. Already know that I do not play. Throw a punch like I'm cutting down hay. I whoop that ass every single night. Spank that ass till they stop the fight. I'll tell you the story of a man, a radioactive tip in his hand. His hand grew 10 times its normal size to help him get his money on time. He knew if the bitch was telling a lie, which was 100% of the time. Superpowers to make the bitch listen, thinking her naked with sex-ray vision. Sweep a police station in a single bound, slapping bitches down to the fucking ground. His name was famous across the land. They called him the pimp named Superhand. Oh shit, yeah, the pimp named Superhand. He had powers no other pimp had. Oh fuck yeah, the pimp named Superhand. That motherfucker was super bad. Asking for dinner ain't asking for much. You had one job and still fucked it up. Sometimes you gotta learn respect. I use my pimp hand to correct. It's called a big slap, slap. Come get your face clapped.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair?
Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm your host, Food for Justice, here where we live, love, and laugh and conquer police brutality. All right, so we're going to try this one more again. Had a little technical difficulties. Okay, so on tonight, we are in Florida. We have a blind man walking down the street, and he's arrested for having his cane. So get your popcorn, get your wine, jump into today's topic, and sit back and relax. And we're going to go ahead and enjoy the show.
During this episode. On October 31st, 2022, Deputy Jamie Godey of the Columbia County Sheriff's Office stopped 61-year-old visually impaired veteran James Hodges while crossing the street after jury duty in Lake City, Florida. Mr. Hodges was carrying his cane, which he sometimes used to help him navigate while walking, in the back pocket of his jeans. And according to Deputy Godey, she initiated the stop because she believed it was a firearm.
Hi there. What's this in your back pocket? I just saw you walking it.
It's a navigational aid. What's the problem? You a tyrant?
Yeah, I am actually. What's your name and date of birth?
I don't have to give that unless
Yes, sir. I was investigating.
You have reasonable.
Do you want me to put you in handcuffs right now? Yes, sir, I do.
What is your suspicion?
It looks like you're carrying a gun in your back pocket. I'm stopping to make sure you're carrying it properly. You
Well,
don't
have
have
you
to.
ensured that it's not a firearm?
No, you keep turning so I can't see it. You don't have to be to me.
Well, you're being one to me.
No, sir. I'm doing my
Navigate that.
job.
Am I detained?
Yeah, you are. What's your name and date of birth?
It does not matter.
Yes, sir, it does.
Do you have a crime?
Would you like me
Call
to
your
put you in?
supervisor,
He's right
please.
here.
All right.
After Mr. Hodges displays his cane to Deputy Godey, she informs him that he's still being detained and orders him to provide his name and date of birth. While Florida law allows licensed individuals to carry a concealed firearm, Section 790.053 of the Florida statutes says, quote, "It is unlawful for any person to openly carry on or about his or her person any firearm." Because the cane in Mr. Hodges' pocket was most...
All right, y'all. So, as we just saw, the officer rolls up on this man. She said her suspicion is he looked like he got a weapon in his back pocket. But once she confronts him, we just heard the conversation, he said it is his cane. Then he whips it out his back pocket and shows it to her. And now she's asking for identification. The man is exercising his rights, saying, I don't have to show you that. So this is what we got going on right now. And she's feeling intimidated and wants to automatically arrest him. So what do you think? Because we find out what? The man is blind. This is a blind man that she is integrating and antonizing for having a cane. She is harassing him and integrating him for having a handicapped equipment of his disability. This is a blind man. So let's continue to check out what's going on in the video.
Visible. If Deputy Godey reasonably believed that it was a firearm, a court would likely determine that she had reasonable suspicion to initially detain Mr. Hodges for a suspected violation of this statute. Still, even setting aside for a moment the reasonableness of her alleged belief that the cane was a firearm, a court would almost certainly conclude that she could not continue to detain and attempt to identify Mr. Hodges after discovering he was not carrying a firearm. Under Section 901.151 of the Florida statutes, which is known as the Florida stop and frisk law, quote, whenever any law enforcement officer of this state encounters any person under circumstances which reasonably indicate that such person has committed, is committing, or is about to commit a violation of the criminal laws of this state or the criminal ordinances of any municipality or county, the officer may temporarily detain such person for the purpose of ascertaining the identity of the person temporarily detained and the circumstances surrounding the person's presence abroad, which led the officer to believe that the person had committed, was committing, or was about to commit a criminal offense. However, as the Supreme Court explained in the 1983 case of Florida versus Royer, quote, the scope of the detention must be carefully tailored to its underlying justification. An investigative detention must be temporary and last no longer than is necessary to effectuate the purpose of the stop. Similarly, the investigative methods employed should be the least intrusive means reasonably available to verify or dispel the officer's suspicion in a short period of time. Based on this and other precedent, the First District Court of Appeal of Florida determined in the 2000 case of Eichner versus State that, quote, it follows from these authorities that investigative detention can be valid only as long as a reasonable and articulable suspicion continues to exist. The suspect must be released if the investigation dispels the concern that initially justified the detention and if the officers have not acquired any other basis to continue the detention. Here, reasonable suspicion only existed as long as Deputy Godey believed that Mr. Hodges might be openly carrying a firearm. As soon as her investigation revealed that Mr. Hodges was carrying a cane and was in no way engaged in criminal activity, he could no longer be constitutionally detained.
Don't even.
Sir, what's she stopped you for? For a walking stick. And it could look like a weapon. She asked you to really present it, okay? Now she's asking me for ID. Okay. I don't need the ID unless there's reasonable articulated suspicion that I have committed a crime, am committing a crime, or about to do a crime. Sir, and her suspicion was that you were armed, okay? And she's asking you for your ID. Well, now she has verified that I am not armed, okay? So there is no problem. Do you have your ID or not? I do have my ID, but you don't need it, okay? Okay.
I don't know where his wallet is.
Where's your wallet at, sir? I don't have my wallet.
So now they're arresting the blind man. It's clearly this is a blind man who has his cane on him. He said he was walking to jury duty, letting them know he heard it was canceled or rescheduling. Basically walking down the street minding his business. And she thinks she sees a weapon. Well, intimidation, people. Because once the officers see, the police know that you can exercise your rights, you know the law, you know how to use your power, they become intimidated. It's intimidation because they feel they no longer have the upper hand against you, right? That they cannot conquer authority over you that leads to brutality. So this man is being arrested for being blind and walking down the street with his cane. And he knew that he was not required to show identification. So the officer, he asked for an officer there on the scene and says, lock him up. Because, you know, hey, I'm not kissing tail in a nutshell. That's what the police is mad about. He's not kissing tail. He's being a responsible adult and a responsible man, and they get intimidated. So what's your opinion on it?
On me.
Okay, where's your ID?
Where's your ID at? Pocket. Which pocket? You are not allowed to search me.
It's in this pocket.
There you go.
Thank you.
I want your names.
I want to piggyback on something just real quick. I want to piggyback real fast. Right before they slapped the handcuffs on him. Let me piggyback, right? Make sure we don't miss it. Okay? Should be right up in here.
You don't need it, okay? Okay?
I don't know where his wallet is.
Where's your wallet at, sir? I don't have my wallet on me.
It's okay. Where's your ID?
Where's your ID at? Pocket. Which pocket?
So they're still looking for his identification. And at this point, I believe they're detaining him, quote unquote. I just want to make sure we don't miss the transaction, right? But we're going to continue to watch to see exactly how this occurs and how it goes down. What do you see? Voice your opinion, and you're welcome to speak on it.
You are not allowed to search me.
It's in this pocket.
There you go.
Thank you.
I want your names and badge numbers.
Sergeant Randy Harrison assists.
So we see he wants names and badge numbers. That's the second time that the man has asked the first officer who approached him for her name and badge number, but she refused to give it to him. Now we just saw what an officer digs into his pocket after they handcuff him, illegally detain him, is what they're doing, and give it to the officer. And she tells the sergeant, thank you. So we're going to skip on down just a little bit here to finish the remainder of the segment on the content.
And the search of Mr. Hodges' pockets were illegal because he showed no indication that he was a flight risk, and he had already proven he was not armed when he demonstrated that he was carrying a cane.
So we just heard that people were in Florida. And the law says that it was illegal for them to go into his pocket and snatch his ID out when there was no probable cause, that he didn't have a weapon, that this is a cane because he's blind. This is a blind man with his cane. And that's what he's attacked about, for walking down the street with his cane that he needs for being blind, right? So it's all violation of this man's rights. And the narrator is verifying that through our laws.
And not a firearm.
Preferably
Hotel
your cards.
322.
Sir, are you legally blind? Yes, I am. Okay. I had to walk up here in the dark.
So right there, the sergeant asked him, so he knows for a fact now, sir, are you legally blind? The man says, yes, I am. That should have been the end of it. That put the icing on the cake. He already has committed zero crime, but now it's verified that he is a blind man. And you know why the sergeant asked him this question? Why do you think the sergeant asked him this question? Because it's on his identification. If he has driver license, which you probably could never get it, but his identification states his disability. He got his wallet. He got his personal info. And the man has already told him he's legally blind. All right, so share your thoughts on what do you think?
Jury duty, which was canceled. Why aren't you using your stick? You don't have to use your stick all the time? Not all the time.
Green. All right, Mr. Hodges. Was that hard?
It's going to be. I want your name and your badge number. You know, I'm putting in jail for resisting.
Okay. All right, let's go.
When Mr. Hodges implies he will be filing a complaint.
So, this is ego. This is abuse of power. You want somebody to kiss your tail and bow down to you. Because it was like, okay, well, was that hard? I got your identification. I ran your name to see if there's a warrant on you. I did what I wanted to do. I had my own personal way. I'm on my own personal trip in power. My sergeant is here on the scene to bag up my corrupt behavior. And okay, was that the end of it? The man tells him no. Was that not simple or easy, mister? No. It can be complicated. I want your name and badge number. And the sergeant says, lock him up for resisting. Resisting? Resisting what? What did this man resist? Why did you approach this man at all? Okay, let's think about it, people. You got different state laws. At the same time, registered gun owners, people who have a right to a firearm, there are a lot of states and areas where you can legally carry your firearm around in public, in the grocery store, walking down the street, even at church, I mean, wherever, right? So let's say if it was a weapon, he could be a registered firearm owner with the legal rights to carry it openly, publicly. So this officer, she don't know what the heck she's doing, and she needs to be terminated from the force. So talk to me in the chat and tell me, what do you see?
Complaint and asks for the officers' names and badge numbers. Sergeant Harrison tells Deputy Bodie to, quote, put him in jail for resisting. Section 843.02 of the Florida statute states that, quote, whoever shall resist, obstruct, or oppose any officer in the lawful execution of any legal duty without offering or doing violence to the person of the officer shall be guilty of a misdemeanor of the first degree. In general, courts have concluded that individuals can be convicted under this statute for refusing to comply with a lawful order from an officer. For instance, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals held in the 2008 case of Vadimski versus City of Melbourne that an individual could be arrested for resisting and obstructing an officer's efforts to detain him during a lawful Terry stop by attempting to leave the scene. In the same vein, in the 2007 case of Zivojinovic versus Barner, the 11th Circuit determined that probable cause existed to arrest an individual for resisting when he, quote, disobeyed a command by members of law enforcement as he was escorted off a property he had been asked to leave. However, it is essential to note that both the statute and the relevant case law require that an individual oppose a lawful command in order to be convicted of resisting. In the 2008 case of CHC versus State, the Second District Court of Appeal of Florida reversed a delinquency adjudication against a juvenile defendant who fled when an officer ordered him to stop because the state failed to show that the officer was, quote, engaged.
All right, so we got our state laws, we got our laws, we got our laws. And I always just want to emphasize on the receipts and what's in writing, you know, and that's why I use this narrator in particular. So share your thoughts and we can do commentary.
In the lawful execution of a legal duty. The court reasoned that, quote, although flight in knowing defiance of a law enforcement officer's order to stop can constitute a violation of Section 843.02, the officer must be justified in ordering the detention based on founded suspicion that the defendant was engaged in criminal activity. Because the officer did not have the necessary reasonable suspicion of criminal activity to justify a detention, and, quote, the flight occurred after the unlawful order to stop, the court granted the defendant's motion to dismiss the charge. Even though the officers did not arrest Mr. Hodges until he threatened to file a complaint, according to Deputy Godey's arrest report, quote, James was found to be in violation of Florida Statute 843.02 by obstructing the ongoing investigation when he repeatedly refused to allow identification of the object in his pocket, as well as...
So they decide to arrest him when he made it clear he was going to file a complaint. That's why he kept asking for their name and badge number, because that man know his rights were violated. The officers, again, are intimidated when you know your rights and you dare use them. All right. So what do you see is going down? The blind man walking down the street is arrested for having his cane.
Refusing to identify himself, despite the fact that Mr. Hodges removed the cane from his pocket and clearly displayed it to Deputy Godey when he was under no legal obligation to do so. Given the precedent on the issue, a court would likely determine that Mr. Hodges did not violate Section 843.02 of the Florida statutes because the officers could not lawfully detain him or require that he identify himself once it became evident that he was not carrying a firearm, and therefore were not engaged in the lawful execution of a legal duty.
I want your name and badge number 2, sir.
Have a seat.
You want to pick my property up, please?
I sure will, after you have a seat.
You want to pull this out of my back pocket?
Sure. Here, I'll grab your jacket for you, too.
Mr. Hodges was charged with resisting without violence in violation of Section 843.02 of the Florida statutes. However, the charge was dropped on November 7th, 2020.
All right, so here's the lawsuit, State of Florida versus James Hodges. They charged him with, as he just said, resisting without violence. And here is the lawsuit and the complaint that was filed to Internal Affairs, to their superior in the police department where they're at. All right, so we got the proof, right here for ourselves in writing.
22 by State Attorney John Durrett, who stated in a court filing that, quote, after having examined all known evidence, it is the determination of the undersigned that said cause does not warrant criminal prosecution against the defendant. On November 3rd, 2022, Mr. Hodges contacted the Columbia County Sheriff's Office about the encounter and requested the body camera footage, and the office initiated an internal investigation into the incident as a result. According to a video statement from Sheriff Mark Hunter, which was released on Facebook, the department determined on November 11th that both officers had violated policy during the interaction. As a result, Sergeant Harrison was immediately demoted, suspended without pay for 7 days, and will not be eligible for any favorable action for 2 years. Deputy Godey was suspended without pay for 2 days, and both officers will be required to undergo remedial civil rights training. In comments on the original video on his YouTube channel, Mr. Hodges seems to indicate that he will be taking legal action against the officers, and a GoFundMe campaign has been created to assist Mr. Hodges.
All right, people. So they got due justice. Or do you think? The sergeant was demoted down to a regular correction officer all over again. He was suspended 1 week, 7 days without pay. And the officer, she was just suspended for 2 days without pay. Is that due justice? Because they're still out here on the streets. They're still in the department where they can get out here on the streets and continue to violate people's rights, but they were disciplined. So the man did a GoFundMe, and he's continuing to go file a lawsuit against him to go to internal affairs. This is a blind man, people, walking down the street with his cane, and they lock him up. They lock him up. This is ridiculous. I mean, just unheard of. So these are the things that we are dealing with. A blind man got locked up for having his cane in his pocket. So we're going to continue here to teach truth, teach power, teach truth to power. I'm going to continue to teach truth to power. And until we do our part to start to change, nothing will ever change. I thank you for joining me tonight. Shout out to Audit the Audit. Hit that thumbs up. I appreciate your support, your comments. Thank you for dialoguing and your interaction in the chat. And until next time, I am Scoofa Justice. Well, we live, love, and laugh, and we will rise above the occasion and continue to conquer police brutality. Until next time, fam, salute.